Good evening. Tonight's video will feature a classic computer. A friend of mine contacted me a couple months ago asking if I wanted a computer that they wanted to throw away. And I'm like, of course, I will take it. I was kind of hoping for something newer, but this is what I got. And when I looked at it, first thing that struck my mind was this is a XT case, or AT case actually, and I'm like, I still love old computers, I'll take it. And for sake of ease, I had already taken screws out of this. But when I opened it up, because I opened everything up before I even powered it on, got a little bit of a surprise. That right there. It is a Pentium 2, 300 megahertz in an AT case. I googled I can't find any information whatsoever on this board except Tie-In Computer Corp, which when I googled the name, they appear to still be in business. But this is a really crazy computer design. I mean, that board is just crammed in this case. The memory is actually right behind the hard drive, or floppy drive and a zip drive caddy. But underneath here reveals an ATX connector, but it's plugged in AT, and an AGP slot. I don't know how anybody, actually I'm not 100% sure, that might be a cache port. I might be completely wrong on that. That looks like it, no, it does say AGP1. See if I can get it. Yeah, it says AGP1. It's got your normal stuff. I'm not even sure which one this is. This looks like a Cirrus Logic video card, a no-name sound card. I can't really catch a name on that. Maybe when we boot it into Windows, it'll tell me. And a modem. There is no network on this one, so I'm not going to show it going on the internet because I have no network port in it. Could always try to find a network card that'll work on it. Let me say, for giggles, let's try to. Good, that doesn't pop out like that. Try to get this out of here. Oh wow. Does only have one RAM stick in it. It looks like it's either PC 133 or PC 100. Maybe get a better look there. Because that's the other thing that shocked me, is how much RAM is in this Pentium 2. And let's not waste any time putting that on. So down here to the trusty monitor. Does also feature a quad speed CD-ROM, floppy drive and zip drive, and a very noisy Western Digital hard drive. Let's turn that on. Apparently that was turned up. It is a 300 megahertz, has 256 megs of RAM. Try to get as much. And we have trusty Windows 98. I do not have a PS2 style mouse, and even though I had a different mouse hooked up that way, this one will not work. So there's really not a whole lot to show in this computer. It wants to install my my monitor, but I don't have the Windows 98 disk. This was used as some part of a church. There's actually files on here that talks about pastor's wife, other ones that give the name of the church, which I'm not trying to show on here, but shows it's a genuine Pentium 2 processor, 256 megs of RAM. Let's see if we can find out what kind of ad lib gold compatible. There's something I've never seen. This is actually a pretty snappy computer for what it is. It actually, I'm going to try to maximize. See if this actually plays music or not. Oh great, somebody deleted all of it. So there's clearly something wrong there, but it did actually play it. Now I had installed a game in here that, as I was kind of obsessed with the Android version for a little while, and Sim Tower for Windows. I don't know if anybody remembers this. I had never seen it, but without a mouse it's kind of pointless to try to do, so I'm going to hit quit. But it is somewhat addicting, they claim, but I could never really get it to work. Other than like photo stuff, there's really nothing to be said for anything in this computer. Just has your basic stuff. It does have a couple games, which I believe many of these are going to be some sort of Christian kids games. As like I said, I believe that this was used in a church. Yeah, there's a there's really nothing to be said for this machine. I mean, it's very surprising. I mean, has anybody ever seen a Pentium 2 computer in an AT case before? I mean, I have worked on a lot of computers, including a lot of ATs, and the most I had ever seen was a Socket 7 computer in an AT case. I mean, I used a AMD K6 500 for a long time. But this looks like a very well designed motherboard. It's got Intel chipset. Has extra fan headers on there. But it is just cramped in here. I mean, you have 4 PCI slots, 4 ISA slots, and an AGP slot. And there's only, so that's 9, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 expansion bays on the case. I can only imagine what an AGP card, what kind of heat that might draw in here. But I mean, all in all, this machine does not you didn't see that, right? This machine does not really seem to get all that hot. I want to see if there are any identifying marks on the motherboard if this is pulled out. Anything behind there? I am going to try to look that number up once I go upstairs to load this, see what kind of support this board will actually take. I can't imagine that this would take a gig of RAM, but if it has a 256, chip in there, and there's there are in fact 4 RAM slots. This might take a gig of RAM. It might take 4 256s. I doubt it'll take 4 512s though. But I've actually got a couple 256s up there. I can try that out. Let's say I never really went through the BIOS on this. I do know it needs a new battery because it yelled at me once about it. Oh, delete. Trying to hit F2. Has all of your typical stuff in there. There's all your IDE stuff. In the advanced, gives you all this junk in here. Advanced chipset setup. Is there a USB header on this? Now I am really wondering. I don't see anything in there. It's very hard to show you on the camera the stuff that I'm looking at. Do apologize for that. But I don't see a USB header on the board. I mean, that doesn't mean there isn't one. But I don't see a USB header. Which is kind of weird because USB was really starting to take off. Actually, before the Pentium 2 days. Try to be careful since that hard drive is currently, spinning. But yeah, there's no. I don't see any USB header on that. But the board, or the BIOS at least, or the chipset. And all your power management set up. Plug and play. Peripheral. Wonder if I can overclock that. And your typical security, and didn't really make any changes, but I didn't want to. So since I heard a somewhat of a click of death for a second, might as well see if I fried the hard drive or not, which does not appear that I did. Again, I don't want to set that up. Honestly, I think with a fresh install Windows 98, this might actually run halfway decent. Since it's already pretty quick with one that's kind of messed up. And anybody remember that screen? The days before our computers turned off for us? And with that, I say good night. Thank you for watching.